fire leaves one woman dead and a 5-year-old missing.
I never thought that this would be an arson to cover up a homicide, to cover up an abduction.
A man with a dark past becomes the focus of the investigation.
Could have heard a pin drop in that room. We all knew his name.
It was a shock to everyone.
All right, I'm leaving now.
He was going to leave, and we wanted to keep him there.
The Bemidji, Minnesota Fire Department responds to a call about a trailer home engulfed in flames.
The fire was intense. It was in a double-wide mobile home, and those tend to burn very readily. When I arrived on scene, there was a fair amount of damage. Some of the windows had been blown out a distance away from the house. It appeared that there may have been some type of a vapor explosion. Pressure built up inside when gasoline was ignited that pushed the glass out from the frame. There was a bedroom that had some fire damage, and in that area was where there was a red plastic gasoline container that seemed extremely out of place.
After extinguishing the fire and securing the scene, firefighters make a gruesome discovery.
Shortly after crews put out the fire inside this Bemidji mobile home, investigators found a body inside.
Once we looked inside, we found out that there was a body of a female, and there was a mattress on top of her. After removing some debris, it was noticed that her hands were in fact bound with what appeared to be duct tape.
Into a homicide investigation at that point.
Police are investigating the death at the mobile home as murder, and they are trying to piece together a timeline of events.
Our victim at the scene was Melissa Norby.
Melissa's house is on fire, and I'm like, what? My daughter is over there.
An officer contacted me and said that there was a female at the barricades that said her daughter had spent the night with Melissa.
Investigators discover that Amanda's 5-year-old daughter is potentially another victim in the fire.
We searched through again. We were confident there was no other human remains in the fire.
It went from a homicide investigation to now we had an active missing child case.
It was discovered that 5-year-old had been visiting the residence the evening that the fire occurred.
A team of investigators and volunteers searched the area, but they could not find the missing 5-year-old.
I never thought in a million years that this would be an arson to cover up a homicide, to cover up an abduction. This girl's been missing since roughly 3 o'clock in the morning. We're worried that time is not on our side. We began to do victimology, talking to everyone who may provide us some little piece of information about Melissa's life.
Melissa's cousin was interviewed by agents regarding Melissa's relationships with other males. Her cousin told the agents that she was aware that Melissa had been seeing a male recently from the Bemidji area.
So you are the cousin to Melissa? Correct. We talked about possible people who would be associated with Melissa or around her.
I knew the name Jake from very personal conversations Melissa and I had. You know how they met? Melissa is always online.
Melissa referred to him as Jake. She was also able to provide that this individual also owned a food truck.
We called the city clerk looking for our food truck licensees, and she told us Jake's Eats is owned by Jacob Kinn. We all knew his name.
It was like a light bulb went off because we were familiar with him in investigations.
Jacob Kinn had child pornography convictions. He had tried to purchase a young girl online for photographing purposes.
He was on probation at the time of this investigation. We asked the probation officer to call him and say, you know how these things work. Every time a kid goes missing, they always look at the people who are on probation for similar crimes. Just come on in, it's not a big deal. You'll be excluded very quickly. The first thing we do, we reach out to the cell phone company and begin to get locations for Jacob's cell phone.
We wanted to know exactly where he was.
16 hours after discovering there was a missing girl, detectives bring Jacob Kinn in for an interview. Investigators want to keep the atmosphere casual.
Jake, this is Chad. Jake is also at the PCA. How you doing?
Good. Good, how are you?
Good.
Agent Girardi and Agent Museus had been tasked with interviewing Mr. Kinn when he arrived at the law enforcement center that night, largely because they didn't know him, they didn't have any connection to him.
All right, you came into the police department, we're inside the interview room, you got two officers talking to you, you're not under arrest. You understand that?
Yep.
And Jake, if there's any point that you don't want to talk to us, walk right out the door and walk through the double doors just like you came in.
It's fine.
Here's the deal. We get missing kids. Guess who the first people we talk to?
Us?
Yeah.
I already knew that. I figured, but...
And that's why you're here.
You've seen the reports of this missing girl? Have you seen?
I haven't seen any reports.
Okay.
My ex brought it up because her boyfriend works for the fire department.
Yeah, did you hear about the fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do know that lady, actually.
And what's her name?
Melissa Norby. If that's right. Yeah.
When's the last time that you've seen her?
Like 6 or 8 months ago.
Oh, so it's been a long time.
Yeah.
There was a fire. There was a body found. We don't know what happened. Okay?
I stopped at her house once.
Was that the house at Hillcrest?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was like a year and a half ago. I stopped there.
As we're interviewing Jacob, and we know because we've talked to all these other people who say they're in a relationship. They know each other well, and I'm watching to see how he is going to answer the question. He is distancing himself from her, and there's only one reason why.
Deadly house fire yesterday morning. Fire started around 3:30 in the morning.
Police in Bemidji search for a 5-year-old girl.
She was last seen wearing a black shirt, a pink skirt, and a pink bandage on her arm.
All right, last 48 hours.
Oh, let's see.
We want him to lock in his time frame, establish his timeline on where he was and who he had been with. Where did you just come from?
Well, I was fishing up north.
Okay. Fishing where?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake. Catch anything?
No, I wish.
What were you fishing for?
Bass.
Okay.
Okay, let's, just so I can verify whereabouts. So if I'm going to drive up there, what does it look like? What, something,
It's like a lake.
Okay.
I don't know what really this has to do with tonight, though. I mean, it's...
Okay. All right. Well, help me out with it so we can cross it out our list. Our resort? Good. Is it marked resort? The sign that says resort? Okay. How many cabins are there?
I don't know. I haven't shown it.
All right.
But I just don't know why it matters, where I was fishing tonight.
There was very little eye contact. He had held a defensive posture. He became defensive over very basic questions to establish alibi when these were questions that most people would have no problem answering.
Having that prior knowledge of where his cell phone location was, and he started to give us a different story of his location. Were you fishing with anybody?
No.
He had no knowledge that we had a cell phone location prior to the interview. So from 7 till, a little while ago, you're out fishing.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure on your time frame?
I'm positive.
Okay. He told us that he had been fishing by North Home, Minnesota, but his actual location was near Bigfork, Minnesota, and those two locations were approximately 30 miles apart. So we knew that was likely a lie, but lies are just as good as the truth in our business, especially when we can prove that he's lying.
Everything you told us is the truth. You're not, your whereabouts, anything like that.
My whereabouts are exactly what I told you.
This Melissa, did you ever have sex with her? Never? Even years ago?
No.
Do you have any way to get a hold of her? Or?
No.
Yeah. Did she ever want to have sex with you? Did she tell you that?
She texted flirty stuff, but...
And when was the last time that you got a text message from her?
Like 6 or 8 months ago.
He's already told us some stuff that contradicts what he told us before. I didn't have a way to get a hold of her, but she's flirty in her text messages?
Jake, everything you told us is true.
Yes.
There's nothing that's going to interfere with your recollection of your timeline and where you were.
Here's the deal. We're looking for a 5-year-old, and I hope you find her.
There is a time in which the investigators determine we are moving from an interview to a confrontation.
Jake, we got reports that you had a relationship with Melissa.
There was never actually a relationship, which is what I already said.
What about her coworkers where she's working now?
I don't know any of the coworkers.
Okay, well, the coworkers indicated that you guys were having sex.
I don't know any of the coworkers, so I can't say anything to that.
Jake,
they said you're having sex. You're again saying no way.
No.
We're at a stalemate here. There were several times where Paul or I would leave the room. Sometimes we find people confess better to one person than two.
Your lake? Who can put you at that lake?
Nobody.
Nobody?
I'm still not seeing why that matters at all.
I'll tell you why. Basically, Jake, your cell phone doesn't put you in that spot tonight.
We started asking very pointed questions and questions that challenged his alibi and challenged his story to us, getting him to try to account for the information that we know.
Where were you when called him at the lake?
That's where you are. That's where your cell phone is.
I don't know how that would happen, but yeah, I wasn't in Bigfork. I had no reason to be in Bigfork.
Step up, Paul, you're free.
Paul and I both leave the room, and that was a time in which we wanted to make sure we'd covered all our bases.
The 5-year-old girl has been missing for over 22 hours. 1 hour and 26 minutes into the interrogation, agents Musaeus and Gerardi briefly confer to learn a discovery has been made on Kinn's vehicle.
When Jacob Kinn had showed up at the sheriff's department, we observed right away that his boots were wet, his pants were wet. We walked outside and took a look at his vehicle and saw flower material and weeds. So it looked like he'd been driving off of the road.
Jacob parked right in front of the law enforcement center. His vehicle looked like it had been driving out in a field, certainly not to a resort to go fishing like he said he was.
We said, all right, let's do a search warrant on the vehicle. Let's do a search warrant on his person and for his house.
At this point, they're going to have to
We knew that we'd put the pressure on, and he wants to leave.
Sit down. You said it was free to leave. Sit down.
We have opted to try to keep him there in order to get the search warrant signed.
At this point, I want to call an attorney.
You can call whoever you want.
Have a seat.
Have a seat. You're being detained with a court order.
Okay, so have a seat.
We're awaiting the signature from a judge on the search warrants. I made the decision that he needs to stay here. Legally, we're able to detain him for a short period of time, waiting for that search warrant to get signed.
The court order's coming.
All right, you said it was free to leave, so then when I say I want to leave, it's you have to stay.
At this point in the interview, he's had enough. I believe he's read between the lines that we know far more than what he believed we knew.
We search your house, your person, your clothes. We find no connection. Guess what? We move on to the next person.
So if I hand over my keys and my clothes, could I call my parents and have them come pick me up?
Definitely. You definitely.
Hey, hello? Can you come pick me up from the police department?
We just didn't feel that there was probably enough to hold him at the time.
We watched Jacob Kinn walk out of our police department. Not in handcuffs, but a free man.
All right, I'm leaving now. Like I said, I was going to move on 5 times, but they kept, like, driving me. Goodbye.
He was going to leave, and we wanted to keep him there.
We're still waiting for search warrants. We're still waiting for other pieces of information. We want to keep him in that room.
I'm going to show you a couple more pictures. You want to see? This gas can. Have you seen this before?
Look familiar?
No. Well, it's familiar. I own a few gas cans.
You want one like that?
I own one like it, and it's at my house.
That gas can was found at the arson site.
Okay.
He probably thought the gas can went up in the fire and was surprised that there was actually a gas stand fully intact, still at the fire scene.
The entire focus of our evening is this little girl.
Yeah. I didn't do anything to the little girl. I haven't seen the little girl. I haven't seen Melissa in a long time. I haven't done anything.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to proceed.
The confrontation of, we think that you abducted the 5-year-old, occurs right here.
We're going to collect some evidence, and the evidence will show either you did or you didn't. Okay, like what? Any evidence on you? Any evidence in your vehicle? Any evidence in your house?
We're going to be executing a search warrant.
It's fine. Okay.
You can't have access to those things right now.
I have to. I can't sleep anywhere else. And you don't have the search warrant yet.
It's being done. I'll go check the status of the court orders. All right.
So what happens when I drive away? Because I don't see a court order. I don't see a warrant. I'm trying to play along and been telling you guys the truth.
Can we run you up to your house and get you some clothes?
No.
Okay. You're not going. Sit down. Sit down.
You said I was free to leave.
Sit down.
You said I was free to leave.
Sit down.
We all knew it. Jacob Kinn was likely our guy. We had other officers and agents investigating his vehicle, and it was evident to them that he'd been somewhere rural, and we were interested in where that was.
Part of the problem with the data that we got from the cell phone was it landed out in the middle of a very rural area in Bigfork.
We took the latitude and longitude coordinates provided by the Verizon telephone company. We were able to map those coordinates, and it put the cell phone as to possibly being 5.2 miles northeast of the cell phone tower in Bigfork, Minnesota.
We found a property listed to a relative, but Jacob, that was right in alignment with where that phone ping showed up at.
Grabbed my vehicle, my squad, a pair of boots, got a full tank of gas, and we made the drive to Bigfork.
The critical 24-hour mark has passed. The 5-year-old has been missing for 26 hours when BCA agents Rob Frank and Don Newhouse arrive in Bigfork.
We were looking for any spots where a vehicle might have pulled off or turned around.
It had rained the night before, and as we're driving up to the intersection of Township Road 288, which is a dirt road, heading west off of the paved 2-lane road that we were driving on, we could see a set of vehicle tracks. To us, it looked like the tire tracks were very similar to Jacob Kinn's tracks on his Jeep that we had looked at previously.
It was exactly what we had traveled to Bigfork to find.
We got to the west end of the township road and saw that the tire tracks had coming out of a field road that also proceeded west and down a hill and into a low area. We parked the squad and proceeded on foot.
The grass was about knee-high, and we followed the tracks. It was probably at least a half-mile walk.
As we got up over the rise on the top of the field, we could see a pickup camper tucked back into the woods. The tracks pulled right up to the south side of the camper.
I walked up to the camper, and the door was tied tight with a big wad of electrical tape. I was nervous and I opened up the camper door. I didn't know what we were going to find.
We got up to the camper, and around the door of the camper, you could see that somebody had placed electrical tape around the doorknob to prevent the door from being opened. And Rob looked at me and I said, "Rob, just go ahead and open it." And that's when we found her.
Hi, what did you say your name was again? I'm gonna take a little video. How'd you get here?
His friend got me here.
Don was right next to me. "Turn on your cell phone," he said. We didn't have body cameras and stuff at the time.
Okay, you don't have to be scared, okay? We're the police.
I saw a little girl sitting on a bed. Looked like she just woke up. Sitting there, 10 fingers, 10 toes.
My name's Rob and this is Don. How old are you?
Probably 5 or something.
Finding that little girl alive, I don't know if words can describe it.
Is there anybody else around here with you? Okay. Is it okay if we take a few more pictures? Okay.
We had a text thread going on to share information. Don took a picture of me and little girl and put it on that text thread.
6:15 a.m. is when I got the call from Don. He said, "We have her." I said, "Alive?" He said, "Alive."
What went through your mind at that moment?
That was fantastic. Never would have believed.
When I saw that text, it still...
Are you thirsty? Okay.
For water.
It was amazing that we were able to find her alive.
My mommy's name is Amanda.
Okay.
They had called me and said, "We have your daughter. She is safe. She is asking for her mom." I mean, I just want to hold her. I want to hug her. I want her in my arms.
She told us her name, her mother's name. We could see that she had tape around her legs, that she had tape around her arms.
Do you remember what Missy's friend looked like?
And she told us about the man that put her there.
What kind of car does he have?
Wait, and it has a name on it.
She told us all these little bits of describing information that described Jacob Kinn to us.
What does he look like?
He has a beard.
I'd received a text from Don Newhouse that says, "She's alive, arrest him."
Jacob William Kinn, age 32, was identified as a person of interest.
I woke up to a picture of a girl that we had been looking for now 26, 27 hours, alive and well in an agent's arms. She's alive, arrest him.
1 hour after the 5-year-old girl is found alive, police track down Jacob Kinn. He is arrested for kidnapping.
Police found Jacob Kinn driving his dad's pickup, traveling back to where he had held her captive. They captured him and interviewed him again at the sheriff's office in Grand Rapids.
All right, Jake. You're under arrest. Okay, see that? Since you are in custody, I will read you the Miranda warning. Okay.
He was very smug in appearance, said very little, and I truly think when Agent Girardi and I walked into that interview room, he had no idea we knew what we knew.
Okay, all right. Has anything changed from we talked last?
Other than being confused as to why arrested now and what changed?
He was
Last night when we talked, you said you had no contact with Melissa Norby. Is that true? And you had no contact with the little girl? Nothing's changed from last night? 100% sure?
95% sure. What's the 5%? Yeah. I'm tired and groggy and you guys kept me up all night. But you didn't really answer my question.
What was your question?
What changed between 2 hours ago and now? Like,
I had the photo that Don and Rob had sent me, and I just said, I'm just going to let him know he's caught.
is that the 5% that you're talking about that you're not sure of?
That was a moment I won't forget.
You could have heard a pin drop when Agent Girardi pulled his phone out and brought up that picture. I'll remember this forever. He stared at that phone and looked at that photo. You can see him writhe in the chair a little bit, and he knew at that moment that we had him.
They put that piece of evidence in front of him and he shut down.
Now, let's start over.
Now's the time, Jake. Okay, we know more than you think we do right now. And now's the time for you to fill in those blanks. Now's the time for you to come clean and tell us what really happened here and what's really gone on.
Take us through the night.
Start talking to Melissa a few weeks to a month ago. Okay. We actually hadn't had a sexual relationship, but we, role played on the phone.
Role played, and what was her role?
It was daddy, daughter, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Then I went over there the other night. What night? And today's Thursday.
Did you go there for her or for Melissa?
It was for Melissa, but it was...
Did you know that she was going to be there?
Yeah. You did know? I'm on. I didn't want an attorney.
He's actually smart enough to just say, I want to talk to an attorney. However, we had enough evidence that we knew what had happened anyway.
While searching the truck Kinn was arrested in, police discover a second cell phone.
As investigators got through Jacob Kinn's phone and Melissa Norby's phone, there was information that they had planned this together, that Jacob would have a relationship with her if she gave him access to a child. The plot thickened again. It was like, how many times can this case have a twist and turn like that?
Melissa being involved to the extent that she was, it was a shock to everyone.
We found a string of text messages that showed that this whole abduction was planned out, orchestrated, and discussed amongst Melissa and Jacob. They couldn't believe it.
It was very shocking.
Authorities later learned that Norby had been working with this man, Jacob Kinn. He had previously been arrested for child pornography and soon became the #1 suspect.
Melissa had communicated to Jacob Kinn that they did do a staged abduction, that he would have to hurt her to make it look like she was assaulted, so that the police would believe that she was a victim as well and that a stranger had abducted this girl.
Obviously, Melissa didn't consent to her death. He put that twist in there on his own. Jacob Kinn wanted the little girl for himself, and his avenue to do that was through Melissa Norby. It was just another chapter in Jacob Kinn's sick mind.
This mother trusted her with her child, and she took total advantage of that and betrayed it because she wanted to have a relationship with someone who obviously did not value her.
It just didn't make sense to me. The Melissa that I knew was loving, caring, protective, and then you find out that she actually helped plan this.
As a police officer, I see victims of domestic abuse. Victims are manipulated in a way that preys on their self-worth. He made her feel so inadequate that she allowed him to abuse her family friend. She went to some pretty disgusting lengths to feel loved by somebody.
He should be in prison for the rest of his life.
1 year after Melissa Norby's murder, Kinn takes a plea deal to second-degree murder without intent, kidnapping and sexual conduct. He is sentenced to 52 years behind bars.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if Jacob Kinn could be sentenced for long enough. But that plea deal kept the little girl from having to get up on the stand and testify and relive what happened.
The longer he talked,
Yeah, I wasn't in Bigfork.
the closer we got to recovering her. Every word out of his mouth was a piece of evidence.
I had no reason to be in Bigfork.
The fact that we were able to recover her alive is nothing but amazing.
This, I think, will forever be the #1 case that I've ever worked on, just because we were able to bring her home, you know. We got her back.
To look at the vastness of the area in and around Bigfork and to find this little camper, it was basically a needle in a haystack. Just never would have believed.
We go into law enforcement to help people and to put bad people away. To be able to do both in the same day, it was a really good feeling.